Man, Mike, we should have known. We should have known how this was going to end. We should have known that the Pittsburgh Steelers, for all of this, we're not going to make any concessions or set a precedent or guarantee money in beyond the first year. And that's how we do business. Like, man, it's T.J. Watt. You make exceptions for exceptional people.
Right.
Now, obviously, the full breakdown will come out. Sure, somebody like Florio will get the real numbers. But right now, deadline spur action, as they say. T.J. Watt, this is Ian Rappaport, Steelers and star pass rusher T.J. Watt, mega deal, 4-year extension worth more than $112 million. That's just over $28 million average per year. $80 million fully guaranteed at signing.
That's amazing.
Highest paid defensive player in football. That's the bottom line. Highest guaranteed for a defensive player, and it's the Steelers who do it. They broke protocol to get their best defensive player signed. Massive deal, $80 million fully guaranteed for skill, injury, and cap. Again, man, it's like, yeah, we don't do things this way. Well, yeah, you ain't got nobody to do things the way T.J. Watt does it either. So good for T.J. Watt.
Listen.
Good for the Steelers. He'll be on the field being the alien that he is on Monday against Buffalo. Bad for Josh Allen, I guess.
Let me tell you this.
What were you about to say, Mike?
Mike Smith.
Yeah.
I know we're going to talk about the Matrix at some point, but this is where the Matrix is totally blown. I mean, that you just touched on it. The significance of the signing itself, $80 million of signing, is just staggering. And the significance that the Pittsburgh Steelers did this, I mean, you could give me 32 guesses. You could give me 42 guesses. I still wouldn't say the Pittsburgh Steelers would sign anybody. Jack Lambert Jr., Jack Lambert III to a contract like this. The whole Lambert family, the Ham family, the Steel Curtain in its entirety. I just never would have imagined the Pittsburgh Steelers would do a deal like this for a player or players, and it's well-deserved.
Hey.
But you're right. We talked to so many guys. We talked to Tony Dungy yesterday, former Steeler. We know how the Rooneys do business. But this just tells you how great T.J. Watt is. This is sensible. And it's, even though T.J. Watt, you're right, he's a rare player, I think this is precedent setting for the Steelers. They can never say, we don't do business. No, I know. Not like you got about 10 T.J. Watts coming, but they could always say before, we don't do deals like this. This is our organizational policy. Can't say it anymore. You can't say we don't. We can't say it's impossible for the Pittsburgh Steelers to do fill in the blank. It's no longer impossible because we've seen it with T.J. Watt.
Yeah. All right. Meanwhile, in the AFC North, the Bengals have reason to be concerned about their 5th overall pick. Well, I don't know why you're smiling. It's actually not funny at this point. Here's what JaMarr Chase, unfortunately, said aloud.
I like the sound of your voice. That's why I'm smiling. I'm smiling because I'm listening to my friends
Here's what JaMarr Chase unfortunately said aloud
on TV.
Listen to this.
You mentioned early on the NFL ball being a little bit different.
Right.
How is it different, and was that more than you expected?
The ball is different because it's bigger, of course. Another reason is different because it doesn't have the white stripes on the side, so you can't see the ball coming in from the tip of the point. So now you actually have to look for the strings on the ball at the top, which is a little hard to see because the whole ball is brown, and then you have like 6 strings that's brown, that's white. But for the most part, you know what I'm saying, you just got to get used to it, find out what I'm comfortable with catching, how I'm catching it comfortable, and going from there, to be honest.
So PFT posted about it. Was the headline, NFL ball is harder to catch than NCAA ball, harder to see without white stripes, and attributed that statement to JaMarr Chase. To which Chase replied, haha, I never said it was hard to catch. They asked me what the difference was in the ball. Don't change my words. Facts. I listened to it. He didn't say it was hard. That question was, how is it different? And he explained how it's different. However it's different, he needs to catch it. That's the bottom line. I didn't hear him making an excuse. And ain't nobody trying to hear that. The ball in the NFL been the same for a long ass time. And cats ain't supposed to be dropping the ball like that when you're a Biletnikoff Award winner. And honestly, man, at this point, I don't even want to hear about how you ain't played football in a year. All right, but you played football your whole life before that. Catching the ball ain't supposed to be that hard for you. There's something else going on here, okay? Do not be the Ben Simmons of the NFL and get the yips when it comes to catching the football. Like, that's your job. And most of all, JaMarr Chase, don't make me look foolish because I ain't trying to hear from this dude. All right, because even though Penei Sewell's having his own problems in Detroit, every time you drop a ball, I got to hear about it from this dude. So please stand by your words, but more important, let your actions speak for your amazing talent. I still believe in you, JaMarr Chase. We will forget this. We will forget this when you're giving your Hall of Fame speech. When you're giving your Hall of Fame speech, 20 years from now, we won't even have to remember this.
All right.
This will be a distant memory.
I'm rooting for him.
Because this ain't who you, this is not who you are, JaMarr.
Hey, I hear the words of Killmonger ringing. Is this your king? Is this your king right here? Hey, man, nobody wants to hear that. JaMarr, just catch the ball, bro. Catch the ball. Number 5 overall pick. You know, great player. Everybody, best receiver supposedly a best receiver in a draft that had a lot of talented receivers who went in the first round. Just catch the ball. And I understand. Look, a lot of people will say this, Mike. You've heard this before as a questioner, and I'm a questioner. You'll hear some people say, "Hey, listen, I just answered the question that I was asked. I just gave them an answer." Some questions you just don't need to answer. Now, look, hey, can you tell me how the ball is different? He's not asking you as a friend. That's a setup. He's setting you up, and you took it. You took it. He didn't ask you that. Hey, you know, JaMarr, just tell me about it. Don't give a breakdown of the football, how it's bigger and the stripes aren't there. Just catch the ball.
He did say it was harder to. You got the stripes. He was a little too specific. He did say it was
specific.
He pointed out the differences and said it's harder to do X, Y, and Z. He didn't say hard to catch. So he was being literal, in his correction of Florio. But stripes or no stripes, dog. Like, catch the damn ball. Like, I mean, plenty of receivers come from the NFL and ain't got this problem. I'm wondering if it's a sight issue, and I'm not shading him. I wonder if it's concentration, if it's sight, whatever it is. He's got to get it fixed. He's got to get it fixed.
You know what? You know what I think it is, seriously. In all seriousness, I think it's just reps. I think it's reps. I think that year off is a big deal for a lot of people. And maybe somebody can come up with an example of someone who opted out in 2020, a college player who's balling out right now. Well, I'm talking about just in training camp. We had a good training camp. Because Sewell, I'm talking about training camp-wise, Sewell struggled in training camp. JaMarr Chase struggled in training camp. Out of the 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round, the top 15, the one who had the hardest time with accuracy was Trey Lance. So, and he displayed his power and his talent.
But even then,
I don't know.
Even then, you opted out. Okay, well, what were you doing when you opted out? Because, okay, what about somebody that gets hurt and rehabbing all year? They don't come back dropping the ball, forgetting how to catch it. People miss the season all the time, you know. So I'm not even going to buy that. But I will give you an example. I will give you. I'm going to switch sports and I'm going to give you an example. And it's also, I know you are.
Okay.
It's also going to tee you up. I was just reading the other day about how awful a spring training. I hope I get this right. How awful a spring training Derek Jeter had in '96, I think it was.
His rookie year, yeah.
That was his rookie year, right? Was it '96?
Yeah,
and then he went on, and Joe Torre was gonna send him back down, but he ended up obviously being a rookie of the year and winning the first of his 5 championships with the Yankees. So there's some inspiration there for you, JaMarr Chase. Is that one, like, you could be struggling now in the equivalent of spring training for the NFL. And you could be the offensive rookie of the year. Hell, Jerry Rice, we all know, had the drop season in '85. We know how his career ended. You know, best hands in NFL history.